There's the heart. The beating heart. I remember that. Look at Gon's face. That's when I first knew this kid's fucking insane. Oh! Ooh, that is drastically different. Hey everyone, Jughead's Journey here. Welcome back to our Let's Watch Hunter x Hunter 1999 series. Today we are watching both episodes 16 and 17. This video today, these episodes have to be where I get to see Killua and Johness. I got it wrong last video. The slower pace continues to throw me off a little bit, but surely, unless we hang on this Leorio versus Leroute match for a long time, we are getting Killua ripping out that man's heart, which is so sick. I want to see the differences, and we're gonna see Gon smiling ear to ear, that insane kid. So without any further ado, tune in to my full uncut reaction here, and then stay for my in-depth discussion analysis afterwards. So, Hunter x Hunter 1999, episode 16 in 3, 2, 1, let's watch. Rock, paper, scissors, heart. That better be Johness's heart, okay? Better be Johness's heart. Leorio with his ego, his bravado. Gotta be macho. Oh, I forgot. That was her challenge. Leroute, the insane psychologist. Pretty face has drawn a lot to commit suicide. I like her design across both adaptations, meaning she must look like this in the manga. I haven't seen that word in a long ass time. And this is a thorough examination until you are satisfied. Now you're flustered. Where's all that bravado and macho-ness now? Because then he has to verify. We've not even known each other for that long, and Kurapika can already read him like a book. Yeah, even he's like... I forgot how fun it was going from this with Leorio and Leroute to Killua and Johness. Complete juxtaposition. Leroute plays with Leorio, toys with him this way, but then Killua literally toys with a human heart. Is there steam coming off his hand? Low risk, low reward. So, go in there, Killua, you can't lose. Leorio can't be mad at Tonpa anymore with how stupid this was. Still gotta make it all the way to the bottom.
残りは10時間もない。レオリオ。
いけねえ、浮かれてる場合じゃねえ。
レオリオ先生。
He loves being called that. Wannabe future doctor. He loves being called Dr. Leorio. Gives even someone like him the creeps. Reading him like a book too. This man's falling apart at the seams. I don't even remember. I'm like intently watching because I don't even remember what happens here. I don't remember this. So this feels kind of new to me. It'll click the instant it happens, but this is where you get cornered to your mental edge. Uh-oh. His best friend. Damn. Manipulating him. Bringing up trauma like that. This feels much more sinister and insidious and psychological than what I remember in the 2011 version. 2011 version also, you know, the pacing was so much faster, so you couldn't have this much conversation. But this episode really makes her come across as, you know, evil and sinister and, you know, an expert at psychological warfare and why she deserves to be in this prison. Yeah, the animation and the style going on right here is really fun and engaging right now. And then the friends behind him are having to, you know, bring him back into reality. Positive words of affirmation. That's how strong she is. A 3 versus 1. Kurapika Leorio, Kurapika Killua having to go up against just Leroute. Knock some sense into his ass.
何か問題を出すんだ。
問題。お、そうか。
Look at her face.
ゴン、ちょっと当たりどころが。
Hit him in the wrong place.
あれね、こうなりゃ運任せだ。じゃんけん勝負だ。じゃんけんでどっちが勝つかかけようぜ。
じゃんけん。
Yeah, try to psychoanalyze this. It's coming back to me. Coming back to me. Try to manipulate and psychoanalyze a fucking game of rock, paper, scissors. Even though I'm pretty sure she does.
そうに持ち時間全部をかけるわ。
全部だと。
別に問題はないでしょ。かける時間はこっちの自由。それにもしあなたが負けても取られる時間は10時間だから安心して。
10取られたら勝負は決まる。くそ、なんで弱気なことばかり考えるんだ。一発逆転だってあるんだ。それともこいつそんなにじゃんけんに自信があるのかよ。
じゃんけんならレオリオにも勝ち目はあるよね。どうかな。
Nah, she can read him like a book.
心理の勝負だ。心理ってじゃんけんにそんなの関係あるの？単に確率だけで見れば負けるのは3分の1。
But you're facing a human. You're not, just playing a computer program. You're playing another human being across from you.
それはお互い様だろう。そうだ。だがやはりまずい。この勝負、レオリオは圧倒的に不利だ。
それじゃ始めてもらおう。
じゃんけん。
There's Johness right there.
統計的に言うと、
Speed this up. I want to see that.
最も出しやすい手はチョキ。
Episode's half over already.
したがってこちらがグーを出せば勝ちかアイコの確率がさらに上がる。じゃあレオリオは分かってたんだね。
Well, let's not talk so fucking loud.
心理戦に入るこれからだ。心理戦？
次はなんだ。グーが来たから次は裏を書いて。いや、さらにその裏を。いや待てよ、その裏の裏ってことも。じゃんけんがこんなに緊張する勝負だとは。
教えてあげましょうか。私はパーを出すわ。
何？嘘か本当かどっちだ。ダメだ、何を考えてんのかさっぱり読めねえ。
レオリオ、チョキを出せば勝てるよ。
黙ってろ。
だってパーならチョキで。
黙ってろっつってんだよ。バカ。
Both sides are trying to influence what he throws.
さあ行くわよ。
よーし、行くぞ。
You might as well just be completely random. Why did he listen?
おバカさん、パーだって言ったでしょ。
負けた。
ああもう、だからチョキ出す。
What an idiot.
結果だけ見ればその通りだが、迷ったり自信のない者は心理的に安定を望んで前と同じ手を出すか、自信を回復しようと前の手より強い手を出そうとする。
He's getting psychoanalyzed from behind him and in front of him. Leroute psychoanalyzing him. Kurapika psychoanalyzing him.
しかもパーを出すという予告をすることでチョキを出しにくくさせている。レオリオはまんまとはめられたんだ。あのヘビみたいな女に飲まれちまったってことだな。
Swallowed him whole.
じゃんけん勝負決着。チップ切れでレオリオ先生の負けよ。
ドクター対決はあっけない幕切れだったな。
これで2勝2敗か。
しかも賭けに
Time to get in there, Killua.
50時間を支払わなければならない。ってことは俺たちの残り時間は9時間3分。
So Killua, you gotta get in there. Be quick.
俺の相手は死ぬしかないのだから。
すまねえ。 博打には自信あったんだが、ただのじゃんけんじゃなくて野球拳にしときゃよかったぜ。
アホかあんたは。
最終
Hey, and Tompa can say that. You can't be mad at Tompa no more. You were a dumbass.
こっちは誰が残ってんだっけな。
俺だよ。待ちくたびれて眠くなるところだった。なんだよその顔。
どうしても俺で勝っておくべきだったぜ。頭を使う勝負になったら勝ち目はねえぞ。
ゴン、こいつすげえムカつくぞ。まあまあ、頭の勝負で負けたやつに言われたくないな。
See, and this doesn't really make sense because they already know that Killua is an assassin and what goes with that. Of course he has brains and he's a killer. He shouldn't be saying that. But in the 2011 version of the manga, they don't know anything about Killua yet. Only Gon does. So Gon knows what he's capable of, but Kurapika doesn't. Leorio doesn't. But because of that filler, they know what Killua is. So then going back to canon and Leorio acting like, oh my god, I really should have won because now it's up to Killua, that doesn't make sense. Again, like, this doesn't make sense when they know he's an assassin and a Zoldyck. It shouldn't matter. The whole point was that only Gon was confident in him because he knew Killua. Because Killua only opened up to Gon. Yeah, and Killua probably has more than 146 victims. Lerorio acting like this doesn't make any sense because of that filler on the airship.
そしてその作業は全て素手によって行われた。逮捕された時、ジョネスは一切抵抗する気配は見せなかった。しかし、彼をパトカーに乗せた警官がエンジンキーを回そうとしたその時、彼の得意技は素手で相手の肉を素早くむしり取ること。それを可能にしているのは異常なまでの指の力だ。
I remember that scene where he just tears the brick off the walls in the alley. No, he does that here, right? He does that right here. Yeah. Yeah, but you never seen a human being turn his hand in the fucking razor sharp claws like Killua can. Now it's fun. See, and this is, yeah, Gon knows it's gonna be okay. I just hate that filler on the airship. It's so bad. Because then little stuff like this does not make sense. You fuck up future dialogue and future interactions. Yeah, again, you know he's a Zoldyck. Who's scarier, more imposing, more legendary? The Zoldyck assassin family or this guy? And there's the heart in the hand. Let me see the claw hands. Wasted no time at all. There's the heart. The beating heart. I remember that. Look at Gon's face. That's when I first knew this kid's fucking insane. Oh! Ooh, that is drastically different. 2011 version, it was in the sack. It was like in his t-shirt that he ripped out too. So you didn't see it, it was censored. Here, you see the heart in his hand and he fucking crushed it.
通り過ぎると小さな部屋がある。そこで負けた分の50時間を過ごしてもらおう。
そう。ところでおっさん、何もしてないから物足りないだろ。俺と遊ばない。
いや、
it's all good. It's good.
暗殺一家のエリート？
うん、ゾルディック家って言うんだ。おい、早く行こうぜ。キルア、今の技はどうやったんだ？
You know he's an assassin already.
ただ抜き取っただけだよ。ただし。
What do you mean, where did you learn a skill like that?
盗みやすくしたけど。
That's so fucking sick.
結局アマチュアじゃん。俺、元プロ
Yeah,
だし。
he's a professional.
でも親父は
The filler, you already know that.
抜き取るとき、相手の傷口から血が出ないからね。
頼もしい限りだな。
味方のうちはな。
I remember that line.
あのゾルディック家のものか。こいつら揃いも揃って面白い。おめでとう。全員通過だ。
ようやく先に進めるぜ。
おいおい、先に進めるったって50時間回し止めくらんだぜ。
ちょっと工夫しようよレオリオ。じゃんけんの。
それを言うな。
So, one outfit later, completely different time of day later, even a different camera lens later that I hope is in focus right now. I had so many errands to do, and then I spilled some shit all over myself on my desk. So it's like a few hours later, and now we're picking up on episode 17. So, Hunter x Hunter, episode 17, in 3, 2, 1. Let's watch. This is loud. Now, let's get the hell out of here.
ここで50時間か。すまねえ。
気にするな。残り時間内に我々が下までたどり着けばいいだけのことだ。そうだよ。まだ失格になる。
50 hours, a long time to game plan.
どっかのおっさん
And hopefully not lose your mind in here.
わかってるよ。
Give me a book or something. Literally, let me download 50 hours worth of anime on my phone, and I'm chilling. They have the opposite of ADHD. I liked it in the 2011 version. Isn't it in the 2011 version, Gon and Killua are like play fighting together, a pillow fight and everything, talking about a sleepover or whatever? I like that dynamic between them. These are the brothers.
俺たちが3次試験ぐらいで落ちてたまるかよ。
今頃やってきてはしゃいでんじゃねえよ。ヤモリさん。
I'm gonna be creeped out by
ヤモリじゃねえ。
Hisoka.
兄貴、もうこんなにいるぜ。
There's Pakal. Just watched episode 80 in the 2011 version, RIP.
32時間。
お前が第1号か。
てっきりそう思ってたらすでに。
Hisoka was the first one.
ひそか。やつか。あの坊や、少しは見込みがあると思ったけど、僕のメガネ違いだったのかも。
His voice kind of sounded different right there than back in the swamp. That was interesting. Straight out of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Straight out of Mission Impossible or James Bond. Straight out of The Usual Suspects. straight out of Die Hard. Or straight out of Star Wars.
くそ一体いつになったら出口にたどり着くんだ。
俺たち今何階まで降りてきたんだ？
You don't even know if you're going down. Yeah, I just hope we're actually going down.
どういう意味で？
We could be going up right now.
トリックで実は登ってたりしてよ。また逆戻りっていうのも考えられるぜ。
残り1時間残り1時間
みんな急ごう。この扉を開けるか開けないか。
開けるに決まってるじゃねえかよ。
This is where Gon comes up with the genius idea.
いい加減にしろよ。
And this is where Leorio loses his cool.
てめえの嫌がらせには心底うんざりしてんだこっちはよ。
ちょっと待て。俺は丸をしたぜ。
嘘つきやがれ。てめえしかいねえだろうが。
違うよ。レオリオ、ごめん。
It was me this
俺
time.
が間違って罰をしちゃったんだよ。
なんでそうかよ。
待てよ。
な
きっちり謝ってもらう。
You're not getting that.
納得できないからな。
Oh god, do I have the hiccups right now? Please no.
来たからだろ。別に謝る義理はねえな。
まるで俺だけが足を引っ張ってるみたいな口を聞くじゃねえか。誰のせいで50時間も足止めさせられたと思って。
Like I was saying last episode, Leorio technically does not have any room to talk.
レオリオ。
おいおい。俺は本当のことを言っただけだろ。
ああ、確かにな。だが我慢ならねえ。
やめなよ、二人とも。
When did he get that?
今はとにかく前に進むことを考えようよ。
ゴン、
Smash the goddamn wall.
通りだぜ。どうやら出口が近いぜ。
やっと全員例の部屋に入りやしたぜ。
それじゃああと1時間楽しませてもらおうか。テスト生諸君、ここが多数決の道最後の分岐点だ。長かった多数
Oh, that's creepy.
最後になるが、当然ここでもどちらかの扉を選んでもらおう。選ぶ道は2つ。5人で行ける
That always creeped me out in the Scooby-Doo cartoons too. I hated that.
短く簡単な道どちらかだ。長く困難な道なら丸、短く簡単な道なら×を押せ。×の場合、壁の手上に2人がつながれた時点で扉が開く。なおその2人は時間切れまでここを動く。
I don't remember this part. I don't remember that being the contingency, being handcuffed to the wall.
早くても攻略に45時間はかかる。
な。
×ならおよそ3分でゴールにつける。さあ、丸か×か。多数決で決めろ。ここまで共に苦労して切り抜けてきた仲だ。奴らに仲間意識が生まれていたとしても不思議はない。だが、丸を選べば結果は目に見えている。さあ、どうする？
They're gonna out-trick Trick Tower.
そうきたか。
レオリオ。
I'll stay.
先に言っておくぜ。俺は罰を押す。そしてここに残され
Oh,
る
never mind. Never mind. I was thinking
ど
differently.
んな方法であろうと3人の中に残るつもりだ。
So long ago that I
戦
forget.
艦も準備のいいこった。古今東西のありとあらゆる武器を揃えてくれてやがる。
There's that sledgehammer we're gonna use to break through the wall.
俺は丸を押すよ。やっぱりせっかくここまで来たんだから5人で通過したい。
ゴン、
一か八かの可能性でも俺はそっちにかけたい。
1 in 10 million kid wanting to take a 1 in 1 million chance.
1時間もないんだぜ。短い道を選ぶしかねえだろ普通。あとはどうやって3人を決めるかだけど、俺はゲームをやめるつもりはないし、誰も降りないなら戦うしかないね。でもキルは。
待てよ。もしかしたらこれは罠かもしれないぜ。考えてもみろよ。短く簡単な道だなんていかにも嘘くせえじゃねえか。よく言うだろ、甘い言葉には裏があるってな。
お前が言うとリアルだな。
なんだと？
てめえの考えは見え見えだぜ。罰を選んで2人取り残されるとすれば、
You don't even want to be in this game. You're quitting anyways.
じゃああと一人は誰になるのかな。確かに戦いになれば俺に勝ち目はねえ。残されるのも俺だろう。だがもう一人は誰だ。ゴンかクラピカ。
Leorio wouldn't be able to take on Kurapika, Gon, or Killua.
試験以前からの仲間だから外すとすりゃキルアか。でもそううまくいくかな。何しろあいつはドルディク。
懲りねえやつだな。その口使えねえようにしてやろうか。
ダメだよ。
おい、なんでかばうんだこんなやつ。
俺どうしてもみんなで通過したい。だから一人でもかけちゃダメなんだ。まだそんなこと言ってんのか。他にどんな道があるって言うんだ。だからみんなでそれを考えようよ。
クラピカ。
I forget who actually figures out that you can just bust through the wall. I forget who figures it out.
となると俺とキルアが×でゴンとクラピカが丸。2対3で丸か。
ちょっと待ってくれ。俺降りるわ。で罰を押させてもらうぜ。これで短い道に決まりだな。
Dead.
間に合ったぜ。
Dead.
死んでる。
バカのやつだぜ。死んで合格よりも生きて再挑戦すればいいのによ。
What the hell was that from Get a Rocker in the background?
一体何を企んでやる。
Long neck extension. What the hell was that?
どういう裏があるんだ。
裏も表もねえよ。単純な損得感情ってやつさ。
何。
残り時間から言って丸は選べない。だが罰を選べば間違いなく俺が残される。つまりどっちにしたって俺のハンター試験は。
Does the door only open if two people are in handcuffs and then you can take it and then
来年の新人潰しに備える。
you can then use the axes to break through the chains?
誰が。
どうするゴン。
もう45分を切った。罰しかねえ。
嫌だ。
ね、お前この後に及んでまだ。
絶対何かいい手があるはずなんだ。何か。
ゴン、一体他にどんな手があるって言うんだ。もう罰の道しかねえんだぞ。
いや、他に何かあるよ。
Is it Gon who comes up with the plan? I don't even remember.
忘れたのか。二択の街でのことを。今がその選択の時なんだよ。
違うよ。まだ生きる死ぬの問題じゃないじゃないか。考えれば必ず道はあるよ。
まだ言ってや。
おいおい、何やってんだお前ら。考えてるじゃないか。
始めやがった。そうやって思いっきり争って殺し合う。その方がこっちの好都合だぜ。
いい加減にしないか二人とも。こうしている間にも確実に時間は過ぎているんだぞ。それにこれは多数決の道だ。決まった以上従うしかない。
それじゃ
もちろん私も従うつもりだし、戦うしかないのなら戦う。ただし同士討ちを期待してその隙に乗じようなどとしても無駄だ。つまり漁夫の利を得ようなんて作戦は通じない。少なくともそんなことはこの私が許さない。
Oh well, Tompa.
クラピカ。
そりゃバレるよおっさん。そんな
Now you're handcuffed for no reason.
どういう意味だ。
You want us to all kill each other. Oh. Didn't even properly handcuff himself.
ふりをして我々の争いを誘い、戦いの果てに傷ついた者を襲って自分は合格する。そんな考えは捨てることだ。
Oh, and then they swing and they find out that the walls are really weak and that you can use the... I forgot that part. Yeah, there it is. It's Gon who sees it. I forget. Okay, now I remember. It took this scene to remember that Tonpa swings with the axe to try and take out Leorio, busts the wall down, Gon sees how weak the wall is, and that they can just bust through the wall. Look at Gon just staring down, brainstorming. Especially as an enhancer, now that we know that he would be an enhancer. His mind is strength and speed. We're breaking through this wall. And that we know technically Killua is stronger than Gon. That they can bust through, that they end up busting through this wall super easily. Please trust me. Swing the axe if you want, but please trust me. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted to show you. Everybody get an axe, a pickaxe, or a sledgehammer. Not even mad. Honestly impressed. We're out tricking Trick Tower. Not breaking any rules here. Come on, let's use these latent enhancer abilities. Now let's run like the wind, Bullseye. We got some fucking running to do. So let's leave right fucking now. We don't all have to make it to the finish line. I just gotta run the fastest. Hisoka, in his disappointment, about to be pleasantly surprised. He can sense him. Okay, I don't remember this. I thought I remember them running. I don't remember this at all. And I thought I remember like Tonpa and Leorio fighting each other during their entire run. I don't remember this whatsoever. Unless I'm completely making up memories in my head. I'll have to look at the other episodes and compare. Moves out of the way for him. So they only had 3 minutes remaining, but instead of making a run for it, they used that time to somehow make a makeshift cart.
長く困難な道から入って制限時間内に壁を壊し、短く簡単な道へ出る。確かにこれなら5人で脱出できるな。
けど所長、あんなのありっすか？
You can't even be mad at it. Who says they can't?
壊したのは単なる壁じゃない。常識という壁をぶち壊したんだ。
He broke through the walls of common sense. I like that line.
まったく一か八かだったな。手が豆だらけだぞ。
本当ギリギリだったね。
しかしよく気がついたな。
トンパさんが床を壊すの見て思いついたんだ。あれを使えば壁に穴を開けることができるかもって。
おいゴン、さっきのせいでローラーボコボコじゃねえか。どうしてくれんだよ。
ごめんキルは。
いや許さない。
あの極限の精神状態で二択を迫られてなお、それをぶち壊しアクシデントにも対応する発想ができる。ゴン、そこがお前のすごいところだ。
諸君、トリックタワー脱出おめでとう。私がブラックリストハンター兼三次試験官の立法だ。さて早速だが諸君にはこれに乗ってもらう。
New whip.
いきなり次の試験会場に連れて行かれるのかよ。
いいじゃん、飛行船に乗れるんだよ。
いいじゃんってお前。
立法さん、さようなら。
You tried to have us killed by 4 psychopaths, not 5 psychopaths, and you tried to make us kill each other, but bye. That's going for you, right there. So, let's discuss here. I really, really loved the match between Leorio and Leroute. It was much longer than the 2011 version, but I say that as a positive. If you can keep anything interesting and engaging, I don't care how long something goes for. I'm not going to complain about length if you keep me engaged. I don't have ADHD brain, I think. So if I complain about length, it's because you're just not keeping my attention. You're boring me. You're not doing well at pacing. I certainly complained about wasting time and losing my interest later in this episode, but this whole Leorio versus Leroute segment, I loved it. Criminal, insane psychologist. Much more imposing and interesting than illegal gambling and endangered species trafficking hunting. I know it's not canon to the manga, but I actually really like this change. I want the women to be as dangerous and killer. Her backstory is not canon, but they did a really good job, in my opinion, changing her backstory. Not even really changing it, more like adding, because it's pretty much non-existent in the 2011 version and really gone over quickly in like one little dialogue bubble in the manga. She really does not have one at all. Again, both Johness and Majtani get, a little bit of extended backstories, but this girl doesn't. The writers did a great job giving her a really engaging backstory for me. Like that guy said, that pretty face of hers has driven countless many of her patients to commit suicide. What a line to introduce her and build her up. Makes you go, whoa, really? No way. Seriously? And then over the course of the next 10, 12, 15, however many minutes, you see exactly. Like just the fact her bet is, I would like for you to bet on whether I am a man or a woman. She knows men. She's barely interacted with Leorio so far, but he's a man. Let's take advantage of that first fact. And I love Gon, the innocent, sheltered 12-year-old boy here, is the one to say, That's a woman no matter how you look at it. Leorio's an 18 or 9-year-old guy. So easy to manipulate. No way he's going to pass up the opportunity. You can give my body a full examination until you're satisfied. That's like Christmas morning for Leorio. That permission feels like a precious, precious rare gift. The teenage brain is wired for immediate reward. Frontal cortex is not fully developed yet, but that limbic system is firing on all cylinders. Leroute is a psychologist. She understands the brain completely. You can be insane and evil, but genius at the same time. So Leroute knows how to exploit that imbalance in the brain. She knows Leorio isn't going to resist an opportunity like that. She's counting on him leaping at her body. A real man would seize the chance, society says. The stereotypical male script. Read him like a coloring book. Even Corpica knows Leorio, and it's only been a few days together. Knowing Leorio, he'll bet she's a he. Now, I haven't heard the word transvestite in a long time, but that ain't worse than tranny, which is the word my subtitles used in the 2011 episode. Both words today are just like, whoa, okay. But at least the former was like maybe actually like a medicalized vocab word for the era, despite still being pretty derogatory. And I'm sure there's some Japanese word or phrase that's used to signal cross-dressing or being trans, but it doesn't really translate well to English, so they use these words instead. I just thought it was funny. I completely forgot that Leorio says that during this match. I was so caught off guard by that. And I like this line by Tonpa from that he says when Leorio is making these bets. He says something along the lines of like, from the start, Leorio has been placing his bets with the least possible risk in his mind. In gambling, those who focus on what'll happen if they lose will never win in a million years. It's not just that some of that usual trash talk from Tonpa about Leorio. I do think it's a good, compact lesson about risk and psychology. Why do losses hurt more than gains feel good? If you place every bet to minimize the chance of losing, you'll never win. Are you playing to not lose, or are you going to play to win? Are you just reacting to threats, or are you shaping the game for yourself? I just think it was a good line from Tonpa talking about risk and taking chances in life, because you can separate that out from the plot at hand and, think of it as an overarching idea. Leroute keeps nudging Leorio's thoughts and attentions towards this idea of, what if I'm wrong? So he becomes just stuck. I also like how Leroute repeatedly calls him doctor, which he gets upset and insecure about. Someone he cared about died because treatment cost money that nobody had. He made a vow to become a doctor so that money would not decide who lives and who dies. This way, he can rewrite his personal tragedy. Leroute drags that into the present here, handing him a title he longs for, being called something he's not, but wants to be. Don't call me doctor, I'm not a doctor. And he probably hates having to say, I'm not a doctor. He can't afford it. That's why he's taking the exam. He can't even afford medical school. He's not a doctor. But if he was, maybe his friend would be alive. Maybe others could have been saved by him already too. She's weaponizing the dream title of his to shake him and steer him, granting him a status that he isn't and that he can't reach right now. Role play that pisses him off. He recoils at it. He's serious about ethics and obviously ashamed he cannot yet live up to that promise. I'm not a doctor has to sting. There's always pride and honesty, but a sentence like that feels like defeat. Leorio's past also kind of quietly feels like a critique of classism too. The gate, the barrier to entry, is not his character. He has a good character. We know his character. He's compassionate and he has a burning sense of justice. But that barrier to entry, that gate, is money, is tuition, money and time. And Leroute knows all of this. What did the guy say? She digs out the opponent's secrets through conversation while he has his guard down. Then she will corner him mentally. This makes me think of, the Bene Gesserit in Dune, who only need a few seconds of conversation and interaction to learn everything they need about their target, and they can, from that point on, instantly control them, if they so wished. Leroute could definitely be a Bene Gesserit sister. She thinks to herself, he values his friendship and seems to take pride in being part of the team, which means those are all his weaknesses. Because he knows this in the corner of his mind, it has made him much more susceptible to bets that don't involve them. She is able to read his mind, that someone very close to him died, and that he has guilt it was his fault. She knows his personality, she knows his past, knows his insecurities, everything. And again, the 1999 series does a great job at portraying her as a truly dangerous, devious, sinister woman, an actual villain, like a siren, but also a butcher. The 1999 series makes her a much more interesting character, as though she really belongs with the rest of these characters in our group that are the characters that our group has faced so far. The 2011 version, and then obviously like the manga, in my opinion, just doesn't do as good a job for Leroute. And again, it's not canon, I know, but I like this change. Bandit, robbery and murder, Sedekan, serial bombings, Majtani, okay, fraud and blackmail, Johness, mass murderer, Leroute, illegal gambling, psychologist who made her patients commit suicide, way darker, way more engaging. The animation also is just incredible during this, and is visually so creative and atmospheric. It's like an actual nightmare in this trick tower. The tone and the atmosphere is just amazing. The best animation this adaptation has had so far, by far. She, in that animation, she towers over him as he's cracking. She says if Leorio really was one of her patients, she could make him cut his wrists or hang himself. That is dark, and I like that. This is a shonen, technically, a teenage story. If we're going to censor blood and stuff, you got to turn the dialogue up a notch, and they definitely do. Like I said, she exploits his insecurities, his guilt over his past failures, his temper. She taunts him about his childhood friend who's died, and taunts him over the stakes of lost time. She encapsulates and demonstrates exactly what is meant when people say information is a weapon, an even more potent weapon than even just, say, physical force. Your dead friend is laughing at you. You wasted 10 hours of your team's time just to feel me up and see if I'm really a woman or not. Boom. He can't deny any of that. Gon striking Leorio over the head with his fishing rod, that symbolizes the grounding power of friendship against self-doubt. It took a friend to snap back to reality. If he were alone, he'd be doomed. But he's not alone. He has friends behind him. And then Kurapika comes in. I think you may have hit him in the wrong place. I love that line. Cuts through how tense the scene otherwise is. I think you hit the wrong head. But then Leorio makes another stupid mistake. Rock, paper, scissors is a game of psychology, reverse psychology, probability, and reading your opponent. And Leorio chose to play rock, paper, scissors with an insane murderous genius mind-reading psychologist. What are you doing? Gon thinks Leorio has just as much a chance of winning as she does, because naturally, each person has only a 1 in 3 choices to make. Rock, paper, or scissors. But it's not that simple. There is psychology and probability at play. It's not a fair game. You're not playing a computer, which would be, built into the motherboard, into the hardware, software, whatever you want to call it, random. You're playing another human being right in front of you, who you can manipulate, who can manipulate you, who you can lie to or trick, who can lie or trick you, who you can read and predict, who can read and predict you. You know, there is a clean 1/3 mix on each sign, but we're humans. We almost never produce that mix. Statistically, what throw do most people do in rock, paper, scissors? You know, it's a game of pure statistics, pure probability. You can, there's a science and an actual study to rock, paper, scissors. You know, beginners overuse rock. It feels strong and confident and decisive. Teen boys lean rock even more. There's an opening bias right there. Then there's the counter bias to the bias. People who know rock is common, open with paper. Then they switch off using paper again right away because they fear it's too obvious. After a win, many players unconsciously go with the sign they just won with. If you won with scissors, probabilistically, they're going to run scissors again. And after they lose, many players likewise unconsciously try to get payback by throwing the sign that beat them. So if they ran paper and the other team and the other guy ran scissors, they're going to run scissors. When people tie, most players avoid that sign again. Then there's the cadence of a person's voice when saying rock, paper, scissors. You analyze everything. A hell of a lot goes into a little game of rock, paper, scissors. That shit's serious. You only whip out the rock, paper, scissors when an important decision needs to be made. A veteran rock, paper, scissors player can exploit all this psychology. And hell, like, how many times have you played it with your best friends? If you play your best friends a lot and your best friends play you, you can learn exactly how they play and they can learn exactly how you play. Leroute even openly tells Leorio her next throw is gonna be paper. He throws rock, thinking she was trying to trick him, but the real trick was that she wasn't lying. She just knew he'd overthink and not believe her. Kurapika says a good line here too. When people hesitate or start to doubt themselves, they will usually stick with what worked for them before, hoping for some stability, or they'll overcompensate. I'm a really big fan of the Killua versus Johness match, but I'm not a fan of the entire long-winded back and forth conversation amongst the group beforehand. It's like an extra minute of dialogue, which is long when episodes are only 20 minutes. And an extra minute on it without the content, it's not a big deal to me. I express constantly on this channel how much more I value dialogue and exposition and character building than I do action. It's the fact that this extra minute of dialogue doesn't even make sense. In the 2011 version and in the manga, this whole conversation before Killua walks to the platform is cut way shorter. Also, Kurapika supports Killua. He says Killua might have a plan. Leorio is the one who is worried. Kurapika doesn't know what Killua might do. Maybe he has a plan because he doesn't know anything about Killua. Leorio is obviously worried because he doesn't know anything about Killua. At this point in the story, the only person Killua has confided in that he is an assassin and child born in a professional assassin family is Gon. That's why Gon doesn't worry. He tells Lerorio, hey, trust in Killua. And he enthusiastically waits for what Killua does with a smile on his face. So the conversation is cut shorter while still making perfect sense as to why each character behaves the way they do. In 1999, Kurapika is clearly worried. Leorio is freaking out. They both need reassurance from Gon. And the whole scene is more than a minute longer, and it doesn't make sense narratively, on top of being longer. That whole filler plot line on the airship, which I still think is bad and really boring and spoils things way too soon and messes up Killua's character development, that whole filler plot line airs out Killua's whole family background to practically half the passengers on board in the middle of the dining room. Leorio and Kurapika are told Killua is a Zoldyck assassin who has killed countless times. He is the son of the most famous professional assassin on the planet. If you know this, why the hell would you be worried for him going up against this Johness guy in Trick Tower? To the point y'all are freaking out. I could understand like a, hey, you sure you got this, right? But not a, oh my god, we're about to lose, he has no chance, what are we going to do? Forfeit the match, he's going to kill you. The obvious problem is that the show writers put in that filler plot line and then ignored it moving forward, going back to canon, when now the canon doesn't align or make sense. You're having Leorio and Kurapika react like as they did in the pages of the manga, and after the filler that changes what they know or how they should behave. That annoys me. When the filler is inserted that changes a crucial key part of a character or their backstory and future interactions or plot lines, and then the writers ignore that piece of filler and go back to following the canon like it never happened and like it doesn't fuck up the continuity. On the airship, you have Leorio and Kurapika standing right next to Killua as he is confronted by that stupid girl, and as her and Killua go back and forth in this arguing, exposing the fact that Killua is a Zoldyck. He's an assassin, and not just an assassin, the prodigal son in the most feared and infamous assassin family in history of the world. Everybody and their brother knows the name Zoldyck. Completely forget that happened, and have Kurapika and Leorio here in Trick Tower acting like Killua is some helpless 12-year-old who has no hope or way of coming out alive against this Johness guy. He's on a suicide mission. 0% chance. When that doesn't make sense whatsoever. It's annoying. What I actually did love was the additional minute of Johness's backstory, building up that tension and that atmosphere. Then there's the actual fight. The music pauses as Killua steps past, and it resumes as we, the viewer, quickly realize what has just happened. Killua ripped this guy's heart out. He smirks, presents Johness with his heart, and crushes it in his hands, the heart exploding and splattering. He asks the other criminals if they want to turn with him too. So fucking cool. To see the actual heart and to see him crush it in his hands, minimal censorship, or very creative use of censorship. In 2011, it's a slower reveal. There's that sound of a heartbeat pulsing louder and louder in your speakers and headphones. I really love that. As Killua reveals what is inside the bag or the pouch he is holding. You don't see the heart itself, but you see the shape in the pouch and you see it beating. It slowly stops, and Johness slowly stepping forward towards Killua in his last breath, begging for his heart back. Give it back. And he collapses. Killua places the bag in Johness's dead hand. In this version, he also asks the criminals if they want to turn to play. Both adaptations have their qualities. They display Killua differently, but both are amazing. Really loved both. And in both, you can see Gon smiling ear to ear. That kid is fucking crazy. I only hate the whole conversation between them, all before Killua steps out on the platform, because that it's just a slogging waste of time that doesn't even make any narrative sense. Episode 17 is pretty straightforward. There's not much to talk about there, honestly. They're in a room for like 18 minutes arguing, and then they break through the wall. Somehow, with less than 3 minutes remaining, they build a cart and slide to the finish line. I had a lot I wanted to touch on in episode 16, which I did. I don't really have anything to discuss in episode 17. And so overall, Rock, Scissors, Heart, the episode 16 title, works on two levels. Heart. It's the object Killua literally crushes in his hand, and it's the emotional core Leorio must protect. It's the emotional core each character is going to have to guard and confront moving forward, which is deep, knowing the path Kurapika goes down in your canoe, knowing the path Killua chooses after the Hunter exam arc and joining Gon when he is rescued, knowing everything Gon goes through to find his father, knowing what they all go through. Heart isn't just the physical organ. Heart also means passion and conviction. And those two are essential in the hunter world. And as we know, they get their licenses. And I think there is a good place to end the discussion today. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please check out my Patreon if you want exclusives, unedited reactions, early access. Having said all that, and with that said, so long, until next time, thank you, have a good one, peace.